So this is me as a freshman at Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois. And this is my roommate, Barbara. I came from Miami, Barbara came from Maryland, and this is back in the pre-digital dark ages. There is no Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg, he's in kindergarten. There's no online way to match roommates. So Barbara and I were genuinely thrilled when we matched up. You see, weirdly, we had both done internships at the public defender's office when we were in high school. Less weirdly, we had both been obsessed with Christian Slater and that Gen X movie classic, Heathers. And totally coincidentally, we both showed up with the same light blue and gray duvet covers from Bloomingdale's. Barbara was my instant best friend. 2 weeks after school started, Greek Rush began. Now, Northwestern had a rocking Greek system. About half of all students were in sororities and fraternities, and about 100% of my freshman dorm was rushing. At least it felt that way. So it seemed like to have a social life, you needed to go Greek. Well, for those of you who may not be familiar with Sorority Rush, let me fill you in. Sorority Rush is like a mashup of Shark Tank meets Survivor, meets Legally Blonde, before Reese Witherspoon goes to law school. It's like an all-girls speed dating to see who's cool enough for the sisterhood and who's gonna get kicked off the island. So about a week into Rush, what the RA would do in our dorm, she'd call all the girls' names out into the hallway, and she's gonna show you the list of where you've matched up. So when the RA calls my name, she looks miserable, like seriously, like she's gonna throw up. She quietly shows me my list. I have been cut from every single house, every single one. I'm horrified. I'm stunned. I cried, and then I called my mom. Barbara, on the other hand, her list goes on forever. She gets into every single house. She is being wooed and recruited hard by every sorority. She is like the NFL #1 draft pick. I'm not really sure how I pulled myself together. I did get involved with the Northwestern Daily, and I got involved in local Chicago politics. And it would be really awesome and make for a really tidy and convenient ending to say, I found my tribe at the Northwestern Daily, and I made great friends through politics. But no, that wouldn't be true. No, my people were going to those really silly sorority functions and fraternity formals. So jump ahead to sophomore year. Barbara is still my roommate, and I decide to do something really crazy. Totally insane. I decide that I'm going to rush again. You see, I think that last year was all just a big misunderstanding. I'm thinking that those girls didn't know me. Maybe it was my red lipstick that came off as a little too aggressive. Maybe I just wasn't perky or fun enough. Maybe I was too intense. Maybe I needed to channel a little bit more Barb. So cut to re-rush. I think everything's really going great. I think I got this. And you know what? I have friends who are scattered throughout all of the different sorority houses, so I'm feeling very strategic. I've got like a grassroots lobbying campaign happening. So I'm feeling like I got it. When the RA calls my name, I'm feeling pretty confident until she shows me my list. Now my head is going to explode. Again, I have been cut from every single house that I want to get into. But this time it's much worse, because this time I have been blackballed by girls who know me. I'm devastated. Now, I get that this is a first world problem, right? Getting cut from Sorority Rush. I get that. But at 18 and 19 years old, this is my world, and I have been rejected from the sisterhood. I'm humiliated. Humiliation is a powerful emotion. It's a cousin to embarrassment, but it cuts much deeper. You see, embarrassment is something that we bring upon ourselves, and that we can often joke about later. But humiliation is brought upon us by others. Fundamentally, humiliation is a loss of our pride and our dignity. The human experience of humiliation goes back to primitive times when we were hunters, gatherers, living in tribes. Social ostracism pretty much meant death. We physically couldn't survive on our own. Rejection triggers the same emotions in us as physical pain does. So essentially that our bodies create the same natural painkillers as if we've experienced physical pain. So a broken heart can feel like a broken arm. For the past couple of years, when I was researching and writing my book, Fearless and Free, How Smart Women Pivot and Relaunch Their Careers, something struck me. as I really dug into why it was that some women could create change in their lives, they could completely reinvent themselves, they can do 180 in their careers, they can launch businesses, it all came down to one thing: confidence. I wondered why it was that some people could just sort of push through all of those anxieties and fears and make some change for themselves, make some movement. While other people really got stuck, they get mired in their own anxieties and insecurities. I also wondered why it was that some people just seem to exude confidence, right? Like, are they wired that way? And is there a gender difference going on? Are men actually more confident than women? So what I found was really fascinating. It does seem that there is an inheritable trait in confidence, and that some of us are predisposed to confidence. And there is also a hormonal connection. It looks like an increase in testosterone can increase your confidence. So men may have a biological edge on confidence. But what I also found that was really empowering, especially for those of us who may not have hit the genetic lottery when it comes to confidence, confidence is like a muscle that we can grow and we can cultivate. And the fastest way to make that happen is to take risks, to put ourselves out there. The Navy SEALs has a great expression: get comfortable being uncomfortable. And I love that. And of course, it's for the Navy SEALs, but it's really something that speaks to all of us, because it's in those uncomfortable places where the greatest growth can occur, the greatest confidence can develop. So as I was looking at confidence as I was writing my book, I was also looking at failure, and I was really intrigued to discover the connection between confidence and failure. And I was looking at women who had rebounded from failure. You see, I have an intimate relationship with failure, and it's not just my epic fail from Sorority Rush. In fact, I would not be standing here today if I hadn't failed as many times as I have. Now, to be clear, I've had a really robust career. I've done a lot of interesting things. At 21 years old, I was a Capitol Hill press secretary. I'm pretty sure I was the youngest press secretary on the Hill. I think I was also the lowest paid. I was also a TV news producer. I've written 2 books. I worked in PR, and in a very random move, I was the on-air spokesperson for TripAdvisor. So I like to say that I'm not a travel expert, but I did play one on TV. But I've also lost my job. I've been fired a couple of times. So I really understand failure. And by the way, it can suck. It is not so comfortable. But that is also why I think I'm fascinated with the failure fetish that exists in Silicon Valley. You see, there, they have reimagined failure as a sign of success. There, the boys in the hoodies who burn through millions of dollars of venture capital cash, all in the name of disrupting industries and changing the world, they're not hiding under a rock when their companies blow up. Oh no, they're celebrated. It is a notch in the belt. It is a badge of honor. It is a respected part of the journey. But it is not a journey that most women are comfortable with. So why is that? Well, we hear all the time that women don't like to fail, that we're raised to be perfect, we're applauded when we're perfect, and we're not taking the risks that men do. The tons of studies support this. So we're not blowing things up and disrupting, we've been playing it safe. But the good news is it seems like we're in the midst of a cultural shift. We're raising strong, fearless girls with grit. It's become a social imperative, if not an all-out battle cry in certain circles. Feminism has even had a makeover. When I went to college, feminism was fringe and frumpy and radical. But today, it's fashionable, with its t-shirts and its celebrities and its bumper stickers. And even Madison Avenue has gotten into feminism. They actually call it femvertising campaigns now, where they're celebrating girl power images and unapologetic women. And this is great, right? This is really inspiring. But what else? What else can we be doing aside from not praising girls when they're perfect? I think there's another P word. It's not just perfect. I think the other P word is polite. We need to stop demanding that girls are so polite, that they be the nice girl, the sweet girl, the good girl, that they not stand up, that they not be controversial, that they not offend. I think that the polite girl who asks for permission is at odds with the disruptive girl who takes risks and goes all in. And yes, she's gonna fail, and she may fail hard, and she may even be humiliated. But it's in that humiliation that she finds her spirit and her strength and herself. I think that today, some of our most influential role models are women who have shown us their strength and courage in the face of humiliation. There's probably no one in pop culture who better represents bold, exquisite, fierce womanhood than our queen bee, Beyonce. Look at her. Swagger is like bouncing off of that bodysuit. She sweats confidence. And in 2016, the internet pretty much exploded with rumors of her husband, Jay-Z, cheating on her, right? I mean, that is of the most personal type of humiliation. And what did she do? She turned it all into a Grammy Award-winning album, Lemonade. She reclaimed her story and wrote her lyrics and wrote her narrative, and she truly made lemonade out of lemons. And then there's Hillary Clinton. Even my mention of Hillary is like a third rail. She has been more scorned, more disdained, more humiliated than any modern figure. And yet, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, she has rebounded time and time again. And in the most unexpected twist to her losing the presidency, millions of women organized and marched all around her loss. They found their voice, they found strength in her defeat. I think we're in the midst of definitely a moment, if not a mini revolution, where from Hollywood to Silicon Valley to the news media to Wall Street, women are coming forward and sharing their stories of humiliation. Whether it's gender discrimination or sexual harassment or sexual assault, they are reclaiming their stories, sharing them, getting stronger, and rewriting the ending. So at first you may think that confidence is crushed because of humiliation. And I don't think there's any parent out there who hopes and wishes that their child be humiliated. And I don't think there's anyone sitting out here who's hoping for a humiliating experience themselves. But it is in that moment that we realize that we can survive and that it's not going to be comfortable, but it will be transformative. So what if we all had a little bit of a failure fetish? What if we all embraced it as part of our journey? Think about how liberating it would be to not fear judgment and not fear being humiliated. Liberating would be to feel like you can go all in and fail. When I was writing my book, Fearless and Free, people would ask me all of the time, where did my fearlessness come from? Where did my confidence come from? And honestly, I never had a great answer. And then one night, I was taking a shower, and I had this epiphany. And I swear, I'm not making this up. These are where my epiphanies happen, in the shower. And I really thought it all circled back to sorority rush. Now, I know that sounds sort of crazy, but it was in that moment of getting cut from houses 2 years in a row where I realized I didn't have a squad of girls behind me. I didn't have a tribe, but I didn't perish like our caveman ancestors did. I learned to lean into myself. And I found more strength in myself than I think I probably ever realized. And I was no longer afraid to fail or be humiliated. That had already happened. So I want to end with one of my favorite female Hollywood screenwriters, directors. She knew something about humiliation, too. She wrote a best-selling novel, Heartburn, that then became an award-winning movie. She also is really known for writing strong female, smart, funny characters, the amazing Nora Ephron. And she says, above all, be the heroine of your life, not the victim. Thank you so much.